So solving linear systems, what we have is multiple lines going on here today. The first problem that we have is going to be similar to what we had for the first set of problems yesterday. We're going to be checking our solution for a linear system of inequalities instead of just one linear inequality like we did yesterday. So again, the first bullet point here up top is check solutions of systems of linear inequalities. The second one is actually graph them. And then it says write systems, meaning you're going to be given a picture and you should be able to write an equation for all of the lines, or an inequality for all of the lines that are in the picture. And then the last one, again, use linear systems to solve real life problems. I don't know how many I put in your homework. But again, a system of linear inequalities is the same as a system of linear equations. You're going to have more than one line. That's all there is to it. You're going to have to shade and determine which way you shade for certain things. But when it all boils, it boils down to is get things in slope-intercept form and graph them just like yesterday. It's exactly the same. It's just you have more than one thing going on. So for example, here's an example of what you would see. Y is less than x plus 2. Y is greater than or equal to 2x minus 1. And you would find where those two things overlap. We'll do some examples like that here in just a second. Before we start graphing, though, like I said, what we have for example 1 is similar to yesterday's. You're going to check and see if this ordered pair is a solution of the system. In order for it to be a solution of the system, it has to work for both. So what we're going to do for the first one, I'll go ahead and do this one first real quick. You would have 5 plugged in for y less than 2 times 3. We get 5 is less than 6. And that's a true statement. Then we're going to take that 3, 5 and plug it into the second equation also. So I have 5 is greater than or equal to 3 plus 1. 5 is greater than or equal to 4. That checks out as well. So the answer for example A is yes. Go ahead and try B. So for example B, we're going to use the same two equations. We're just going to plug in a different coordinate point, -2, 0. So again, 0 is less than 2 times -2. We have 0 is less than -4. That one is not true. You really don't have to go on. I'll go ahead and show you the other one. But once you find that one is not true, you can automatically say the answer is no. I'll show you the other one just for the sake of having the whole example. 0 is greater than or equal to -2 plus 1. And we get 0 is greater than or equal to -1. This one is true, but again, because the first one wasn't true, we have no for the answer to the system. So again, graphing systems of linear inequalities, like I said before, it's just going to be multiple lines. At the beginning of the video here, we talked about y is less than x plus 2 and y is greater than 2x minus 1. They've graphed the two lines. Notice that the red line is the graph for the y is greater than or equal to 2x minus 1. It's solid. My y-intercept is -1. My slope is up 2 over 1. The other line, the blue line, is the intercept is 2. My slope is up 1 over 1, so that's this blue dotted line through here. Technically, the answer for this linear system, I know there's a lot of stuff going on here, and what's nice about the iPads are that we can shade in things different colors. So all of this blue stuff over here is not part of my answer. All of this stuff that's red over here is not part of my answer. The only stuff that is part of my answer for the linear system is the stuff where they overlap, this purple stuff. So in the past, when we had to do things on paper, it was kind of a challenge because they had to figure out where they were allowed to shade, whereas you guys can see where it overlaps. So you'll be able to do it very similar to the way the book does it here too. Example 3 here, we do have some special cases pop up from time to time. You guys can see here, if you were to get these things in slope-intercept form, I am going to go ahead and do that real quick. So 2x plus y is less than -1. If I were to isolate y, I would subtract 2x. So I have y is less than -2x minus 1. And if you'll look up, that would be the line that is on the bottom. That's the blue line there. And then for the red line, if I were to isolate that y again, it's 2x plus y is greater than 3. I would subtract the 2x. And I have y is greater than -2x plus 3. Again, that would be the red line that's shaded above. So even though we do have a picture here, the answer to our linear system of inequalities here is no solution because there is no overlap. If they would have changed the inequality symbols around, if this one would have been greater than and this one would have been less than, it would have been the shaded area that's in between, and we would have had some solutions. But because they're opposites, this one's less than, the other one's greater than, we don't have any answers that technically work, even though we have a picture. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. So for number 3, one of the equations is already in slope-intercept form. We need to put the other equation in slope-intercept form. I'll kind of erase these as I go. But x plus y needs to be put in slope-intercept form. I would subtract the x from both sides. I would get y is less than negative x plus 0. I'm not going to put the plus 0 because I don't need to. Let's graph that line that I just did there in blue. So y is less than negative x. My intercept is 0. And I would go down 1 and right 1. Solid or dotted line?
Solid.
Dotted. Dotted line. Okay. The other line. Let's do the other line in red. What's my y-intercept of the top line on number 3? 4. So I go up 4. I plot a point. My slope is negative 1 again. Is this one solid or dotted? Solid. Oops, and I still try to dot it. Okay, it's solid. Now, regardless of whether it's solid or dotted, do these two things, or shade above or below that one? I forgot to shade. The red one, which way do I shade, above or below?
Above.
I shade above the red. I shade above or below the blue?
Below.
Below the blue. Okay, so there's no intersection there. There's no solution there. There's nowhere where those red and blue lines meet. So there's no solution for number 3. Okay, how much of this is the app going to let me erase? Woo! Sorry, give me a second. I'm going to erase this. I wish. After you record, you can't just erase, like clear all, like Notability. I do. I have to record. If I stop recording, it won't let me erase anymore. So I have to record this whole squiggly erasing crap. I can't. It's too much. All right. You're going to be on YouTube forever singing good morning like a weirdo. Okay. Number 4. Shh. Okay. It's erased. We're done. Let's graph the top line in blue. What's my y-intercept? Negative 3. So I go down 3. What's my slope?
2.
Up 2 over 1. Solid or dotted line?
Solid.
Try again.
Dotted.
Dotted line. Shade above or below the dotted line?
Below.
It's greater than, so you're going to shade above the dotted. Other line in red. What's my y-intercept? 1. What's my slope? Up 1, right 2. Up 1, right 2. So I can keep doing that pattern. Solid or dotted?
Solid.
Solid line. Above or below? Above. So again, your solution is where the red meets the blue. That would be the section that is above both lines. So it's this section right in here. All of this is where the intersection is. Any solution of the system would be anything in there. So you could list any number of points. There's infinitely many solutions. That's why you have to write it and show your work as a graph instead of just as a bunch of numbers. Okay, let's erase again. Where's my eraser? There it is. Oh, I can't erase. We're going different colors. Okay, quiet. Help me get number 5's top equation isolated. Negative 2x plus y is less than 4. Add the 2x, y less than 2x plus 4. I'm going to have to graph in a different color. I know it's going to get kind of busy. What's my y-intercept? 4. I'm going to plot it here. Oh, that's a terrible color. Terrible.
I like it. Like a
Let's.
do the rainbow one.
Okay, it's in orange. What's my slope?
2.
Up 2 over 1. Solid or dotted?
Dotted.
Dotted line. Again, I apologize. It's busy. Above or below? It's below. So the orange is the only one we care about right now, not the red or the blue. Okay, next one. Let's do it in, crap, I can't go green. Well, I'll go green on the graph. Okay, I subtract the 2x, so my next equation is going to be y is greater than negative 2x plus 4. We'll graph it in green. Okay, so 4 is my y-intercept again. I go down 2 and right 1 this time, and it's green. Let's see, and I shade above this line. It's dotted. So above the green line. Again, it's hard to see. I'm sorry, it's kind of busy. I couldn't erase. But here's where they meet, in between these two lines over in this area. Everything in here is a solution of that fifth problem. Like I said, your book will be kind of nice because you'll be able to see all these pictures. Okay, we have two more examples and then we're done. We had some of these yesterday also, you guys, where you had to write an equation for what was going on. We have two different lines here. Let's go one at a time. Let's take the dotted line. What's the equation, or excuse me, what's the y-intercept of that dotted line? Where does it cross the y-axis? Look up the dotted one. 0, thank you. What's the slope of the dotted line?
-4.
What? Up 1 over 1. Someone said it. It's 1. Now, I know I need a y and an inequality sign. What's my inequality sign going to be? Is it above or below?
Above. Below.
It's below, so I want less than. Do I want an equal to bar?
Yes. No.
No, I don't. And then just fill in 1x plus 0. So it's just y is less than x. Let's do the other line down here in white.
All right.
What's the equation of that horizontal line that goes through -2? Y is what? Greater than or equal to -2. So between these two equations, that's how they got this answer up in here in the shaded area. Now you're going to try one.
Less than or equal to 3.
Less than or equal to 3. That's one of them. Very good. What's the other one? Y is great. Tony the Tiger. Greater than.
Yay! And then
Oh, I lied. Your slope is not 1. I lied. It's 1/3.
1/3.
Up 1 over 3. What's the intercept, though? I didn't lie on the intercept.
-1.
-1. That's the answer. That's the answer for what's going on in that picture. Again, like I said, your book might throw some at you where there's 3 or 4 different lines. It's the same thing. They're just going to give you a shape that you're going to close in. Homework time.